Imagine yourself sitting on the beach with silky white sand and crystal clear water. Now imagine yourself ziplining through a mountainous jungle and seeing all kinds of exotic flora and fauna. What if I told you there exists a country where those two situations are separated by a 2-hour car ride? Well, there is a place like that, and it's called Belize. Belize is a stunningly diverse country home to many unique people and cultures. Belize is located in Central America, right next to Mexico, Honduras, and Guatemala. It sits right on the Caribbean Sea, so the climate is tropical year-round. In most places, the temperature never gets below 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Belize has a rainy season and a dry season. During the rainy season, the sky is littered with clouds, and it can rain for days at a time. My family went to Belize during the rainy season, and I can assure you that if you leave something out for too long outside, it'll get wet. The dry season is different, but by no means is it a drought. During the dry season, you can expect rain a couple times a month. Speaking of rain, let's talk about the Belizean economy. Agriculture is very important in Belize, and throughout the country you can find things growing like bananas, plantains, oranges, grapefruits, cocoa, and a lot more. If you take a look at this visual aid, you can see that a huge chunk of Belize's exports is things like grown crops like bananas and fruits and rice. But in recent times, tourism has surpassed agriculture as Belize's leading industry. It's very famous for its beautiful beaches where people go to snorkel and swim and just relax. But a little bit less popular is the jungles of Belize. In the jungles, you can do things like hike to ancient Mayan ruins, zip line through the canopies, and you can even cave through tubes that are full of spring water. Just like the country is very diverse, the people are also diverse too. Belize is made up of a few big groups of people or races. The first group is the mestizos. Mestizo people account for roughly 50% of the population, and they're people who are Spanish, part Spanish and part Native American or Native Indian, like the Mayas or another native group. The second big race there is the Creole people. Creole people account for maybe 20% of the population, and they're descendants of slaves who were brought to the country several hundred years ago. The rest of the population is made up of small groups like Mennonite farmers, Chinese immigrants, descendants of groups like the Mayas, and a lot more. Though English is the official language of Belize, most of the inhabitants of the country are trilingual. Created and spoken by the Creole people is the language of Creole. The Creole language is it's a very informal version of English where phrases and syllables, or phrases and words are shortened into a few small syllables. Like for instance, in English you would say, she came over here, but in Creole all you'd have to say is, and excuse me, I'm going to butcher this pronunciation, you'd say like, she here, like something like that. The other main language in Belize is Spanish, and that's spoken mainly by the mestizos. But like I said, most of the people in the country speak English, Creole, and Spanish. There's so much to talk about. Belize has so much to talk about that 5 minutes really isn't enough. It's really a diverse and interesting and unique country with a lot to offer.